All right, pot of gold, welcome back. I tried to wipe a smudge off the glasses right before we got started. I think I just made it worse. Welcome back, pot of gold. I'm Brett. I'm here with Mike Grant, the intern, back from vacation, looking lovely as always. He's in a remote location behind the glass. LSU takes down the region in what felt like the longest weekend of baseball of all time.
Yeah, we already have a delay. We moved our start to Saturday. It's not on Friday this week. It's going to be Saturday through Monday in anticipation of the weather.
I don't like that. Just to like kick it off the rip, like it feels like that's for the B team. It's like you want to be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, take care of business. Like we're done on Saturday afternoon, boys, and we're heading to Omaha. Now it's like it's
Yeah,
gonna drag on to like Monday, Tuesday. It's like I don't like this. I don't like where we're heading, Bob.
yeah. With our luck with the weather, it'll be Wednesday before we figure out if we're going to Omaha or not. So
Look,
we'll have to figure out those logistics.
a ton to dig into. We're gonna talk about all of it. Hit us up on Twitter at pot of gold, at goldmike, potofgold at gmail.com. I thought about it earlier. We might have some bad juju because I never got back to the person who was trying to do like the tarot card readings with the pod. And
The
I
team's
feel
been
like
going well,
I
so
think it's
let me
good.
know.
I mean, the weather has been the only bad juju.
I'm just feel like that may be a bad omen looking forward. I was like, I probably should have at least responded, even though like I'm highly interested. Of course, I just never
But
responded. But
I think it's better that we didn't respond instead of like no showing the actual meeting because I think the odds of us like not actually following through after the first encounter are probably
very
a lot
true.
greater.
Very
So,
true.
I don't think that's any negative juju on us. I will say, starting off this pod, I did forget my equipment. So, if things don't sound great, if there's internet issues, if there's voice issues, I apologize. That's
Grant and
on
I
me.
got this. The two seam heads of this podcast, we'll take it, Mike. You just kind of hang out and cruise control it then.
Well, I'm connected to my work computer with my AirPods, and listen, the quality's not going to be great, but guess what? We're here. We can't miss this week. We're getting supersized, boys. Not circumcised, but
Mm.
No,
supersized.
that's a different day entirely. Um, a lot of baseball to get into. Obviously, you kind of want to start it off the rip with the first game against Tulane, but Thatcher Hurd's got some filth.
Thatcher
All I
Hurd
heard,
has
all I
woken up
heard, all I heard every week was like, "Oh, our bullpen sucks. Like we don't have any
because you
pitchers.
didn't
He's
watch
the
until
only guy."
fucking this week, Brett.
This dude nutted up and just came out after like a 19-hour delay and just was throwing the nastiest stuff you can imagine, like Barry Zito style curveballs on them boys. And I'm just like, I'm so glad I'm the fucking bus driver to this Omaha
Yeah, you're
trip.
the Thatcher
Everyone
Hurd
got
guy.
off. Yeah, yeah. Some people got pissed on Twitter when I was like, people are asking if Thatcher Hurd has the best stuff on the staff. They're like, do you not know that Skeen's gonna go number one? I'm like, people are asking. People are asking.
People that just tuned in are asking. Um,
If you've
it's a
seen seven
pleasant
innings.
it's a pleasant surprise. The bullpen absolutely showed up this weekend, and we're definitely going to dig into that. There's a number of people that every good LSU baseball team that goes to Omaha typically has a late bloomer in the season, somebody that kind of comes out of nowhere and really leads this team. You didn't expect it this season due to the fact that you had several big time leaders like Skeens, Tommy Tanks, and Cruz. But all of a sudden, you got Hayden Travinski coming out of nowhere as a bomber, one of the most on fire electric rises statistically that we've seen in a long time. And then,
We just let's pause on Travinsky real quick.
well, I was going to say the bullpen, but yeah.
No, just to shout him out. Like what an absurd appearance. Like just he looks so intimidating. Like we thought Tommy White looked pretty sick in there. I feel like when Travinsky now steps in the box and he's been catching all game, so the sweat's like dripping off of his like scraggly hair with the
Oh,
Fu
he looks
Manchu
he
and
looks like a baseball
he just
player
looks
that you want on your
intimidating.
team. You
Yeah.
want him
Like I'm
on your
just
team. He's what we wanted Jared Jones to evolve into by the end of the season.
Eventually,
but
he'll get there.
We got that from a dude that's been on our squad, and that's always great to see. I love seeing the guys like Pearson and Jobert and Travinsky. By the end of the year, when it matters the most, those are the guys that are stepping up and taking us to Omaha. Huh?
I mean, Beloso.
Yeah,
Beloso is just he gets overshadowed, but like he wasn't supposed to be doing what he's doing. I mean, well, if you look at his freshman year, you would have maybe predicted him to do this, but you know, he was just another. And Dugas has struggled more lately too, but he did have
get
a
him out
big
of there.
homer. Like
I'm done. I'm done with Dugas. Waste of time. Brett, what are your thoughts on Dugas? You've been following him recently.
Get him out. Get him out, Mike. That's my thoughts. But
the problem with Dugas is what are you going to put in the Polt?
Right. Dugas gets on base. He gets on base the third most behind Beloso and Cruz. And
he's just been in a little bit of a slumber. And I get
no, but those are guys with limited at bats. He gets on base more than Tommy White, Trey Morgan, Jobert, Thompson. He's just always on base, even though he's not getting that many hits lately. It's crazy because he gets he's third in the country in hit by pitches with 20. He's been hit 27 times. That's half of the games. It's absurd.
What if he got like an NIL deal for like Bruise Cream or something?
I mean, he should.
Or like the elbow pads.
Our whole team takes an extensive amount of hit by pitches. I think we're top 5 in hit by pitches as well as a team.
We get pegged. We definitely get pegged.
We get pegged a lot. And when you get 5 margaritas or more, you're
easy
bound to get pegged.
But yeah, obviously the Thatcher Hurd stuff was a little bit of a joke, but if that dude shows up for the next 3 weeks, if that same guy that pitched on Sunday, I guess it was, whatever day it was, if that dude's here, Omaha is very well right in front of us. And then it's like, who knows? We got it.
Well, that was the whole point of this hype all season in the preseason, was the fact that like we knew offensively we'd have a decent squad. But we thought that Thatcher Hurd and Christian Little transferring in would give us a couple quality starters to go along with Skeens. They did not produce this season. Now, you move forward into the offseason. You move forward into the postseason play of the SEC tournament and now the regional performance. Thatcher Hurd has absolutely stepped up. I mean, we would cross our fingers. I was crossing my fingers during the regional. Can we get fucking 4 innings out of Thatcher Hurd? Like that was what I was hoping for. If we can get 4 solid innings, that'll be on par with the expectations now of Thatcher Hurd. Now I'm expecting him to throw 6 to 7 quality innings.
To be exact, in his last 3 appearances, he's gone 5 innings against Georgia. We won that game. 5 1/3 against South Carolina. We won that game. 5 innings against Oregon State. We won that game. So honestly, give me 10 innings between Thatcher Hurd and Ty Floyd in a weekend series or in Omaha. And I think we're doing okay. If those guys can combine for 10 innings, that's pretty, or 11 even, then I think we're good, you know? But
then you can bring in Ackenhausen or Herring or Guidry, right? To give you a handful of outs, rotate through, money if he's dealing. Throw strikes, man. Put it in play. Let our guys go make some plays. Guess what? If you hit it out, you know, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen in college baseball right now. It's an offensive-led league at the moment. We want to make sure that we don't yank our dudes just because they're giving up a couple bombs. Now you start walking them, you start loading the bases, and you start tacking on 3-run homers and all that good shit. No, that's whenever you yank. But, you know, I think right now we're in a position where the lights are on, the pressure is on, and you saw them step up. Can we carry that into the super regionals against Kentucky? After this regional performance, I'm pretty confident that with the lights on, with the whole season on the line, we know what our weaknesses are. We did our best to correct them the past few weekends. Let's put it all together, put it all out there. I like our chances for Omaha. I agree. I think we're set.
Yeah, I was extremely worried when it came out on, I don't know, Friday, Saturday, whatever day it ended up being, that Skeens was playing against Tulane because of that same thing you were kind of mentioning. It's like if we can't piece this together in this next day, the third day, it's like we might be in some trouble.
And
Now, obviously, the move looks perfect. It sets you up really well for this weekend. But like,
yeah,
I
that
was
made
very,
that
very worried.
we
Jay
were all
Johnson.
everyone was worried, and it makes Jay Johnson look like an absolute just brainiac to do that. It worked out
still
so
kinda-
well, but like, how do you know what the weather's? If there's no
It's the
weather,
weather.
yeah, then we're all talking shit. But because of everything, the way it played out, like, just genius.
If you can get Hurd to stick with what he's doing, and then Ty Floyd to step up as a super regional pitcher, you're good. You're golden in that
Yeah.
book.
And if we hit like we did yesterday,
I think the bats are going to come for a weekend super regional in Alex Box. Like
yeah.
That's got to be, if you can't step up in that stage, like this team doesn't deserve to go to Omaha.
If we had the crowd that we had with all this weather bullshit this last weekend, can you imagine what it's about to look like when Kentucky comes in this weekend?
It's gonna be big.
I do think that was one of my favorite things watching the series this week, is that knowing how bad the weather was, how many delays, and it's like if you just flipped on the TV to the game, you would have had no idea that it was like hours delay. It looked like it was a perfect start time, like everyone was there. It was loud, it was rowdy, and I imagine it's only going to get crazier this weekend. But that was cool to see, because you flip around to a lot of these games and there's like been delayed. I think almost every game had some sort of delay in it for the most part that I tried to watch on TV. And it's like the crowds are fine, and that's baseball anywhere outside of LSU. But it was just nice to see that it was like it didn't matter. We could have been playing tonight and it still would have been the same electric crowd.
Reading on the message boards and on Twitter, people, when they announce the start time, it's like, all right, filling up my flask, getting in the car and heading back. It's like, that's right.
Yeah.
Like that, good on you. Probably
because that wouldn't be me.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Obviously, if I lived there, it might be different. But like, if I would have packed up for the day and been like, I don't know, it'd be tough to go back. It'd be tough to go back. And so good on the OG fans for LSU college baseball to be like, nope, you know what? Let's pack this bitch. It's a regional. We're seeing a heck of a squad. Let's see if they can put it together. Exciting games too. Good games.
I think we have some scar tissue just from like the amount of like horrible traffic situations with LSU football. And it's like, well, there's like 1/20th of the amount of people like driving and on campus, like for a baseball game. So it is probably a little easier, but yeah, like thinking about like getting back there, and it obviously depends on where you live, but just to like get settled, be like, fuck, they're about to start. Let's roll. It's like, hell yeah.
As
Not me, but hell yeah.
As a student,
it would have been different for sure.
No excuse as a student.
No, you get back out there.
Absolutely.
But it's just the crowd you expect from LSU baseball. But I think that definitely deserves some sort of recognition.
It was our boy that does the chants.
Oh, Chris Guillotte.
Guillotte, that's it.
I was gonna say Guidry too.
You don't know ball. You don't know ball, Grant. Keep quiet.
Guillotte's out there doing the go. No matter how long the delay was. So it was always good to see that. But pretty stupid though, man. Can I just say this whole like, let's not start anything till noon, all that bullshit. I know we've read a lot about how that was out of our hands. But at some point, you gotta listen. It's South Louisiana. Like, it's fucking June, man. Like, it's gonna be raining in the afternoon. Let's get as much ball as possible in the mornings. Obviously, it worked out for us, but it could have easily been built into why we fucking lost.
Even like yesterday's game. Like, why did we start at what was it, 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. I think it was 1 o'clock start yesterday. It's like, just fit it in, because there was a lot of rain. It just so happened to dissipate and not actually happen, but. I mean, overall, just such a great regional. I'm just looking.
But they already ruined the TV schedule. They arranged the TV schedule. We weren't even being broadcasted. It was ESPN Plus. So like, just schedule a fucking
switches. Time. Yeah, it's all money.
So
just back to the regional itself.
Money, like still,
there's no money in baseball.
I get it's money, but they make more money if more.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
With Baton Rouge and Skeens and Cruz, there's a lot of money for ES. They think so, I guess, but no, great regional. We're very fortunate I mean, we went 3-0 like we were supposed to. There were many teams that did not. Oregon
Mhm.
State
It felt like
on
we grinded to the last game of the series.
we
It
did.
felt, yeah, we did. Yeah, we
It
did.
felt like it felt like we like didn't win, but like we did. Like we won pretty handily
It
2 of
was
the 3
pretty cruise
games.
controlled, and like
Yeah.
the stress level compared to like how LSU did, I think just because of obviously the delays and everything, but it just felt like it's like, oh shit, we're playing tomorrow. Like what time? And it's like, well, guys,
Mhm.
we got this in cruise control. Like we're good, but it was very hectic.
Skeens took care of business on Friday. We were able to.
Easy.
I mean, what a freaking that was insane. I mean, I don't know,
Hey,
like that doesn't happen. That's I mean, I know we've compared him to like Aaron Nola and got like for our generation of pitchers that we've seen, but
Gossman,
like I mean, no, he's
the donut boy.
Nola's the best pitcher before Skeens that we saw.
yeah,
I'm just putting that out there. He's the best,
put it
most
out there.
complete, most effective, most efficient, just consistent. And Skeens is better than him. I mean, it's a no brainer in terms of just
It's
absolute
crazy.
talent.
I wish we could have seen Skeens more than one season. I won't take this for granted though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's definitely one of those years that I'll always remember, regardless of
Yeah,
what happens because of guys like Skeens. It's like even
yeah.
if we don't win the title, it's like, well, you remember the Skeens year? You know, like that. It's
Well,
gonna be it's a standalone name.
K Ladies never had a better season.
I was telling my
Never.
brother, and this is kind of out of place, but like not really, but like this team just deserves Omaha. Like they deserve to be there. Like this weekend,
That's a very like Bama-esque statement that you're tinkering with. Right
but like let's look at what's happened like last weekend at the teams that did lose out and like we didn't, and we have the star power, we have everything going for us. We're playing in Baton Rouge 2 weekends in a row. It's
It
like
would be a failure. It would be a fucking shame
at this
this
point, if
crew.
we lose
Saban
to
deserves
Kentucky,
another
it's
title.
like, whew, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. It just
It
feels
is
like
gonna
these
hurt.
guys are gonna will themselves in. There's gonna be a close game on Friday night where Gavin Guidry is gonna have to close it in the 8th or 9th. And then on Saturday, we're gonna go, or I guess Sunday actually, because we're starting on Saturday. I think we end up using
Exactly.
Floyd and Hurd again just to get the win. Like I can see Jay Johnson making the call. We're gonna start Floyd on Sunday. He's gonna go four innings, getting into some trouble, and then Thatcher Hurd's gonna go the rest of the way. That's my prediction.
And then if we lose it, if we blow it, we've got an entire.
Then if we lose it, then we got everyone else, and we go Cooper, yada yada yada, like we did yesterday.
And we just stick with the bats. I do think that the pitching. I say this out of just bold fucking predictions here.
You think we've turned the corner?
Well, I think pitching is what steps up in the supers. I think it's like a wow, you know, like when we needed them the most.
It's that
they
pressure
zoned in.
moment. The crowd just like fucking gets in there, and it's just I don't know, dude.
Well, you saw it with Hurd. You saw Hurd actually, you know, respond. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
dude, you need a pit. You need an out here. Like, don't go away from your breaking ball. It's missed a couple times, but just fucking hammer it here with a full count and trust it. And he did, and he got some strikeouts doing it. It's like, okay,
yep,
that's what
massive
we need you to
strikeouts.
do. Don't deviate from what makes you great. Just fucking trust it. It's gonna hit at some point, and just keep pounding it.
Boy, Oregon State can hit, but they can also strike. I mean, you thought we struck out a lot. Oregon State, they freaking strike out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I thought Hurd was just throwing some nasty stuff. When he starts like 4 innings into, he starts throwing that little backdoor slider in on you after he's been hitting you with hooks all day. Like
that was
in
not
control.
The Hurd we saw all year.
Oh,
you know?
that's my Hurd.
That is Brett's Hurd. Somebody
that's my
that's
Hurd.
Slip in a fucking slider. It's like, whoa, Hurd's got this on command.
Dude, when he pulled that out, like I was like, I love this dude. Anyone who has one of those big hooking curveballs, like you got me, I'm in. And then like, it felt like he didn't throw the slider forever. And then all of a sudden, it was like, holy shit! Did this dude forget that he had this pitch? Like it felt like it came out of nowhere. He was dialed.
Especially when it's so random because his fastballs are so up in the zone. He's got that high zone fastball, and then he'll fucking hit you with his fucking, you know, his changeup, and then he'll throw a slider in there. You know,
It,
it's pretty interesting.
Brett, you
the
would like
one,
this about Hurd. He donates all of his NIL earnings to food pantry in Baton Rouge this year.
oh, I remember the picture of the bear pantry. Don't you worry, it lives rent free in my head. Of I couldn't have told you who it was, but look at all this work we've done. There's like 4 cans of soup on the shelf. I will
That's
say,
Good for him.
I love it. Whatever. I don't care what you do with your money. I mean, you do you. The one thing I will
Not a
say,
joke.
it felt like Hurd maybe washed his uniform on the wrong cycle. It was looking like it shrunk a little bit on him.
Yeah, it's a little snuggy. He
It's
is
a
a
little tight.
UCLA. He's a UCLA guy. He's a California guy. So
That makes sense.
they like to show off their thigh muscles.
Yeah, I mean
They really
he's
do.
got a go wagon. I'm not like dissing the quads or anything. Like he's got it, but I was just like, oh man, we're a little tight here, huh? Might rip it with.
Good, good to see his performance. Obviously, Guidry coming in at the end was a gutsy performance, and you could see that he was feeding off the crowd. He
on
was
the game
enjoying.
too.
Well,
In the
when he
close game.
when he came in, and he was just the crowd stood up and started like really, really chanting on those two strikes. It You could see he kind of tossed the rosin bag a little bit, threw it down. He's like, "Let's fucking go," before he like
That dude's a
actually,
competitor.
yeah.
Little
So
Matty Ott situation. Little Matty
yes,
Ott.
that's immediately what I thought about. 09, Mattiot, little freshman walking into the game and just fucking moments not too big. Let's zone in. Let's just take this energy from the crowd and fucking put it in my right arm and let's whip it in. So
Guidry's
good
a
to
dog.
see. Back to Travinsky for a minute here. Thank God he can hit, man, because he's killing me behind the plate.
Yeah.
Killing us behind the plate.
Yeah. He's definitely not Milazzo or Neal back there.
Milazzo is one of the most talented defensive players in the game.
Yeah.
And, like that's a guy you put in when the game's on the line. You need some saves.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, you literally can't sub out Travinsky when he
Can't
starts
take
doing
Travinsky
that.
out.
Because then his next at bat after 2 pass balls, he goes yard. And it's like, what are we doing? Sorry, Milazzo.
Right. And
I forgot how fucking electric a back-to-back home run situation is.
It's like you
there
don't
is
stop yelling.
Well, it's like they barely get back from fucking replay, and all of a sudden the next ball's gone, and you're like, "Am I seeing a second replay?" There's just nothing more exciting.
It's like a crowd, pick six.
Yeah, the crowd hasn't even thought about settling down yet, and then it just erupts. It's the most electrifying move in sports.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And Milazzo, I mean not Milazzo, Beloso. He just like a nice easy stroke too. It was just a nice easy swing.
He looks like he's been the best hitter of like the rec league softball team for a decade. Like he didn't swinging out of his shoes. It's just this like, oh yeah, I'm gonna dink this into the outfield, except it just keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Grant's showing on the screen for the YouTube viewers, Travinsky's a walking meme. I mean, he's a guy that, he's got the headband, the stash, the flow, the grease, the size.
Makes you forget what time period you're in.
And I love it. It's like, man, this is like a 1985 Met. It's like a New York Met player. Or something.
Nice game, pretty boy.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good. It's a good, like, there's a lot of characters on this team, a lot of fucking fatheads that you can glue to the wall. Travinsky's in that crew.
The way that he can like pimp his swing when he knows it's a home run, I've never seen anything like it.
The double-handed.
Like, he hits it, and then the bat just like, it's kind of like a golf like twirl, but like you just know it, and he just lets go of the bat, and he's like, "Yep, it's out." Like, remember Sammy Sosa when he would hit a home run and he would do the big
yes.
It's like one of those type moves where it's like he hits the home run and drop, like the bat's like, he's like, I don't know what happened, but it's a home run. I know it. Like the bat's just gone.
Well, that's him showboating. I mean, that's him absolutely knowing that it's fucking gone.
I love it.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's great.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to be the one this week that throws a big fuck you to the pitcher after hitting a bomb.
Yeah, he'll do something stupid. Can we talk about? Listen, I know I hate on Trey Morgan's theatrics and drama, but his defensive ability is second to none. Do not take him off of first base.
I agree.
The defensive moves that he has had. Can we also talk about fucking Thompson catching that ball right behind where the second baseman usually plays and almost fucking annihilating Thatcher Hurd?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Dude, that was almost a disgusting highlight.
Thompson's pretty ridiculous.
But that was about to be a sick play. Like he was about to spin around and he had that dude gunned down easily. Like the ball was there. Travinsky was just like, what the hell are you doing? Like I had no idea this was coming. Anyway, the defensive plays right now, Jordan Thompson's been making some sick fielding plays, but his throws are not always where they're supposed to be. But Trey Morgan is absolutely making up for that. It's incredible.
He's so much better at first.
I don't know what
but it also helps when Pearson's hitting triples off the wall and hitting home runs and things like that. Makes it a whole hell of a lot easier to move. And Travinsky's doing his thing, and just the odd man out is Milazzo and Jones and Jobert doing his thing. Like the lineup, it's coming to like if we could have probably drawn the lineup up this year, the only person we didn't expect is probably Travinsky. But like preseason, it would have been Jobert's out there, Pearson's out there, and Morgan's at first, and maybe Dugas is the only other question mark. But
I thought Kling would have stuck around a little bit longer pre-injury. I thought he was having a great start to the year.
But he got hurt. I think if he doesn't get hurt, he might be Pearson. But Pearson, I don't mind either one of them. Both of those guys are worthy of it.
And they're making plays in the field. Nobody's fucking around in the field where you're just like, man, defensively they're costing.
No, the one that fucked around the field was Cruz yesterday. He should have caught the ball in the ninth inning when he dove into the fence. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Idiot.
I gave
with the end of park home run in the ninth, and I was like, what are we doing?
But you're saying it reminded you of something?
I don't know. What I hate reviews in college baseball. Like they took away so much of I think what makes baseball fun is to like completely complain about like one single play or like one bad call.
Like I would have yelled about anymore.
I would have loved to have bitched about the dude obviously not catching the ball in center field for like 4 days. And like, when there's like a double play and the ump like rings him up at first and then they like check on it, like I'm kind of out on that. Like it kind of annoys the shit out of me. Like human error.
Jay Johnson is a demon to those refs. Like to the bumps.
I love that
Jay
covered
always gets in their ass.
It's like, dude, no one's checking you out here. Like no one's reading your lip. Just let's have a conversation. It's like,
really like there's a million cameras on you, dude. Like just fucking talk. We're gonna know. We're gonna know what's happening. But I think the review just takes away from the excitement of seeing a coach go crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Back then, it was just like, deal with it, dude. Like it was just the call.
It was just so fun to hate on an umpire for literally an entire weekend because he screwed you over on like an obvious call. Like, and now it's like some jamoke just goes and puts on the headset and then like rolls out and he's like, "You save you." I'm out. I'm out.
That play screwed up our base runners. I mean, like. Jordan Thompson was rounding second. He didn't know whether or not it was an out or safe because now you've got conflicting umps calling on the field. So we could have advanced another bag there. Obviously probably wouldn't have happened, but like that's the level of fuckery Jay Johnson gets to. He's just like, whoa, we should be on third now.
We might as well. You got to give us a run.
I think what it does is kind of like in football. Like it just makes the refs' calls like lazier. Like they don't have to be as right anymore because they know it's like, well, if it's reviewed, nothing's going to happen to me. Like there's no accountability for the calls that they miss. It's just like, oh, out.
Yeah,
we can review it. Like I called him out. We can review it. I called him out, but we'll see if you might be right.
But like going to a replay, knowing there's nothing that can happen, and it's like you get to it. Just I don't know. I miss the human. I miss the human error part of sports.
Yeah, there's definitely a fun part of sports where
we're gonna have robots calling balls and strikes soon too.
I think I'm here for that. I think I'm here for that.
MLB is already testing it.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I'm more
in the minor league systems, they're testing robot umps where
Can
the
you
umpire is still
imagine?
back there and they have an earpiece in, and then they just get a call like strike, and so they call strike.
Can you imagine how fun it would be to just be extremely pissed at an Amazon Web Services, like, AI
Oh,
bot?
those
Oh,
things are going to be destroyed.
oh
They're
my
going to have
god. Are
security,
No,
dude.
it's real umpires, but there's a zone in the
oh, for
camera.
now.
Like the camera angle picks up the ball passing through the zone like you see on the MLB
So
games.
what is he there for?
So he can
To
actually
get
make the
yelled at?
signal
So he
and to
can tell us
call,
what it says?
but he's also going to call a safe route at home plate. Like he still needs to be there.
Yeah, I know,
Well,
but
he's
as far
gonna
as like the
pretty
calls of
soon,
ball or strike,
Balls are
everyone's
strike.
gonna
He's
be
getting it in the earpiece. It's just telling him strike. So he just does this.
that would be cool, Brett, what you're about to say. Have like an
everyone's
Oculus view of the
well,
fucking
yeah, I know
umpire.
Mike's busy and maybe not up with it, but Apple announced their like
Saw it.
Ready Player One. I just imagine everyone out there with those on at some point and like, oh, the AI said out.
That was actually the
Fuck.
highlight of the Austin trip.
Yeah, I heard
Austin
you.
trip
I
was
heard you were painting the walls with that Oculus.
I was averaging
Only-
about 290 off the tee. So.
That's what I meant. Yeah. That's what I meant.
He was swinging. But no, I think one day it'd be cool to have like a ref cam. Can you imagine?
Yeah, no,
I think we're definitely getting closer to shit like that. I know that.
Don't confuse it. I'm all in for robot umpires and everything, but like this middle ground of like, well, no, we got to have 17 umpires out there, and it doesn't matter like what they call. I'm out on.
Can you imagine the business though if you could pay for a stream of a certain umpire's head cam? Like, yeah, I'm gonna tune into this stream instead of the broadcast. Like, I'll pay $5 to watch the World Series from a
But, like-
fucking umpire's view.
I guess you really like kind of like don't notice the umpires, but seeing umpires with these big old camera headsets on, almost looking like
fucking-
DJ. Yeah.
Whipping his dick out during the 7th inning stretch, like taking
Pretty
a piss. You didn't turn off the stream, Bob.
What are you watching? What are you watching?
It's like, oh, that's what he said during the argument. You know, I don't know. I just think eventually one day people's experiences are going to be for sale. And that's not just going to be posting a video. It's going to be like fucking seeing what they see throughout the day. And you can log in and pay for that.
The ultimate Twitch streamers.
Yeah,
think-
exactly. But
I
in
feel like
sports-
Barstool might be one of the first ones to be able to get into that. That'd be cool.
possibly. I mean, you would, yeah. I mean, we'll go off on a tangent here.
Wait,
So-
let's finish up on baseball. Let's
Yeah.
finish up. Let's finish up on the rest of what the country did.
Well, yeah, really crazy regional experience. A lot of the top dogs get busted in the first game. Several of them clawed their way out of it, but Clemson did not. Clemson falls against Tennessee.
the hot team falls.
Pulse of the nation, Tennessee, Omaha.
Tennessee will go to Omaha. They'll
Yes.
beat Southern Miss. They'll have their redemption year. And
And
they'll
if
go to
not, great.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
This
it'd be fun
isn't
to
your
whatever.
year.
Square off on Southern Miss and
whatever.
Omaha.
Tennessee's not winning the national championship. Mark it down.
I very much enjoyed. God damn it! I very
Jinx
much.
that.
I very much enjoyed seeing the Twitterverse of, see, it always rains this time of year. You shouldn't put regionals in the South. It's like, I don't think that's how it works, man. Like, I don't think we can just like pick the weather. It's like we're gonna take the best teams and put regionals there.
And it was
Deal?
like we need to
Deal.
start moving them to the Superdome when it's in Baton Rouge. Like,
What are we going to host at Ohio State just because it's in the north and just have them host it and they can just watch? Like, no, that's where we're located.
it's
Get used to
stupid.
it. But yes, Clemson goes down to Tennessee. Did any other top 8 seeds fall?
Yes, Vandy and Arkansas.
Yeah, I was
Vandy
gonna
and
say
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
That's right. I forgot.
Arkansas and Clemson, I think, were actually the only hosts. No, Auburn was the other one too. But like
Auburn.
major top seeds, where's it at?
Top seeds is Arkansas, Clemson,
They're both down here.
and Vandy.
Where's Arkansas?
They're on the right. I
Who can
believe.
say? They
I
lose
don't
to Duke.
Why don't
I mean,
see
the quality here is so good. I don't know how we could not
I
see
know.
it.
I'm just trying to see red. Everybody at home's like, you fucking idiots. Arkansas
Yeah,
lost to
I don't know.
Wait, what?
TCU.
Yeah, I know. I don't. Where's TCU? There they are. Okay, there's Arkansas. Got it.
There you go. TCU is the hot team now. TCU has taken the spot of Clemson as a team that's putting up an insane amount of runs and kind of like, striking at the right time. They're going to be the Cinderella that everybody wants
Yeah,
to see.
they scored 12, 20, and 12. Jesus
Beating a
Christ.
national seed 20 to whatever is so great.
Oh, you
Nice.
you ride up into Omaha with, magnums on.
Let me fix this. What was I
Oh,
gonna
Grant,
say?
happy Pride Month.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I waiting on you to mention that.
Huge shout out to Grant.
Wait, what? Anyway.
Happy to be here. Actually was at Target buying Bud Light the other day. So
I
anyway.
bet.
And you just visited me in Austin.
Yeah, very weird. Back to baseball.
Wake Forest and
more
okay,
balls.
so let's talk
Love
about
balls.
the supers. Let's see who moved to the super regional round. What are some really exciting matchups we have coming up? I can name one right off the bat. Florida versus South Carolina is a heck of a super regional.
Yep, that'll be very entertaining. I don't know. I wonder what they did. What did they do earlier this year against each other? Let's see.
Well, while you're looking that up, South Carolina was a
throw the records out.
Pretty hot team for a while. South Carolina was on the roll.
They were.
So they have had their success this season. Florida, obviously, in my opinion, coming out of the SEC, I give them the notch over Wake Forest. I think they're the best team overall going into Omaha. So this will be a heck of a matchup. What does the history tell us?
South Carolina swept them back in April.
There you go. That's whenever they were on their run.
That's when they were hot. Yeah. So Florida's going to come out with a vengeance. I see Florida taking this series because this isn't the same South Carolina team we've seen. I mean, we beat South Carolina.
Florida's a hell of a team. You obviously have Wake Forest and Alabama. I think that'll be a decent game. I think it'll be more of a competition than people think. Wake Forest will advance there. Yeah. I agree with you, Grant. I got Florida over South Carolina. I think Florida's the best team going into Omaha. You move down, you got Stanford and Texas. Interesting matchup.
Great series.
Good series.
I mean, just that's two teams. Yeah, just two traditional.
Baseball
too bad, like they're not both going to be in Omaha, but at least we know one of them is like, yeah, I don't like them, but like, I'd rather one of those two than A&M.
It's the definition of a super regional.
Texas versus Stanford. Yes. Is it at Stanford?
Has to be.
Yeah, because they're number 8. Never mind.
Yeah, I know they hosted the regional.
Yeah, they're number 8. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say if it's an
which is even better because that means you get that like, oh shit, it's 11:15. What's going on? What's going on out there?
And as much as I don't really care much for Texas baseball, I'm actually happy that they won the Miami. Like I just don't like Miami baseball.
And I'm happy A&M doesn't get a chance to play them. I know that
they agree.
Lick their chops for that, and they get to play Stanford. So I'm happy with that.
Stanford is going to be the sneaky team. That's
Stanford looks good. Did you watch that game?
I did. They're a sneak. I've watched like because they've been the West. They've been the last game every night of the whole weekend. So, who they ended up losing to? Oh, they lost to A&M, didn't they? Let's see.
Yes,
they lost to. Yeah, they lost to A&M,
and then they beat them
game. Twice. They beat them, ran it back.
They're the sneaky team that no one knows because everyone's like, oh, Pac-12, like there's no one out there but Stanford,
Maybe I'm just hating on Wake Forest because I haven't watched enough of them, but like I've got Stanford over Wake right now from what I've seen. I like Florida and Stanford, then Wake, if I'm looking at that crew so far. Virginia.
Yeah, I think Wake Forest's deal is these guys haven't been there. If you look at their roster top to bottom, they have 2 pitchers with like 10 wins, and their third pitcher is like really good. Offensively, they're lights out, and they're in the ACC. Like they've played good competition, but I agree with you where like I'm not sold on them, and I think the number one reason is they've never been here. Like they don't know that if they were to run the table and win this, great. I think there's going to be way more baseball schools in attendance at this thing in Omaha that'll tell them otherwise,
So let's scroll down a little bit. The other side also has Virginia and Duke, who going to be a good game. Duke has been playing really well. Virginia has a lot of experience in postseason play. They're kind of an Omaha school, so you would think that
there's got to be
blood.
some upsets on the board, boys.
There's going to be some upsets. I think this might be that. I think Duke could take Virginia. I think Texas could take Stanford. I'm not saying they couldn't. I just think
so too.
Stanford's at home and they're playing really well. But I think the upset could be Duke over Virginia. Scroll down, Grant.
So Duke won 2 out of 3 earlier this year against Virginia.
Okay. Obviously, you got LSU, Kentucky, which, in my opinion, that's awesome series. 2 SEC schools battling it out. Good for Kentucky. This is their first Super. Is that right?
No.
Or no, they've
been to Supers. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
It's one of the best teams they've ever had. Because
I remember back in like 2010, 11, 12. I don't know. At some point when I was in college, they had a squad over there.
Oregon, Oral Roberts. That's
neither one.
That's a poop fest. I have no interest in watching Oregon play baseball, and I brush my teeth. So Oral Roberts, I don't need to see. That's what I think about. I think of toothpaste. I don't know, but Tennessee,
the forgotten Super.
Tennessee Southern Miss. That'll be a fun matchup. I think Southern Miss is definitely a team that plays well in regionals, and they've been to Supers before. So Southern Miss is a team that could make some noise. I have Tennessee beating them.
Give me Southern Miss.
And then TCU versus Indiana State. Another couple of unknowns. TCU is probably the hottest team in the game right now, beating the blocks.
Obviously,
off of Arkansas.
Obviously, nobody knows about Indiana State, but it feels like it could be that region where it's like 15-4, 16-6. Tennessee or TCU's on.
Yeah,
it's like we don't even need to flip that one on, guys. That one's taken care of. Don't even think about it.
So I'm gonna call TCU, Tennessee.
I think Oral Roberts gets in over
Kentucky.
Oregon. That's my pick.
Oral Roberts. I'll ride with that. I'll ride with Oral Roberts there. LSU.
Give me Oregon.
Brett's go. Okay, fuck. Put that on the other hand. LSU. Brett, you good with that?
Yeah, I guess.
You're the Omaha bus driver, brother.
One of these 4 is going to be an upset. It's just a matter of who.
Give me Duke and Texas.
I don't really consider Duke an upset of. I know it's an upset technically, but I think out of Stanford, Wake Forest, and Florida, I think you can narrow it down. One of those is going to be an upset because I think Duke.
So you think it's going to be one of those 3?
Yes, one of those 3 is going to lose.
I can see that.
It feels like a spot where like everyone's all of a sudden putting all their chips on Florida and they just like lay an egg and like.
Yeah, I don't see Bama going to Omaha over Wake Forest.
No.
Now that I narrow that down, I think the biggest upset potential, unfortunately, is us in Florida. I think LSU and Kentucky is that people are circling as potential upset, and then Florida and South Carolina as an upset.
I wonder, did they name where the Tennessee Southern Miss regional is going to be?
It's at Southern Miss.
Oh, wow.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I just thought about
positive.
That. We were talking about Indiana State and TCU, and obviously TCU got to host, which is kind of crazy, but there are reasons why. So that
Tennessee fans were very
that might
upset.
change things.
Okay. I've been off of
I like Southern Miss.
That's going to be fun to watch, especially if Southern Miss wins.
That would be awesome.
Man, this Oral Roberts in Oregon, like who is watching that regional for one? Like, Nobody's
Probably-
even though it's
probably us.
exciting because none of them, like, neither team goes to Omaha ever.
No, but we're gonna watch it.
I'll watch. It'll be because I'm assuming it's in Oregon, right?
So
Where's that
what's
one?
I mean,
so that side of the bracket?
be
That
in
side of the
Laurel.
bracket plays on Friday, right?
Yeah. So the left is on this side. Our side is on Saturday. This side's Friday.
left side, strong side.
Strong side is on. Okay, no, weak side is on Friday.
Yeah, Oregon hosts. That's
What are the
crazy.
odds? Is there any odds?
Where's my phone? Let's see. I don't know if they put them out yet. I think they're. It might be out
Yeah, I
today.
think we probably need another day or
It
two.
might be out. At least I only checked Caesars.
I think there has to be. But while you're looking that up,
Oh, it is. No.
while you're looking that
No,
up,
just the futures. We're still second to win it behind Wake Forest at plus 450. Which honestly,
450
like with Arkansas and Vandy losing, that helps us a lot. Let's say we get past Kentucky and we start thinking national championship. It's like, I mean, we can beat.
We gotta get past
Florida and Wake
Florida.
Forest are the only two teams left that are like could challenge it. Like, I mean, yeah, someone could get hot, but those are the only two.
Stanford, TCU.
Give me Stanford every day of the week.
Stanford, TCU, Florida, and Wake Forest. Those are your
Give me
teams.
TCU as well, because they said that shit about Oregon State this week, that they were the hottest offensive team in the country, and our shitty pitching staff blew them out of the water. So
that's what I'm talking about, Grant.
But
I think now Wake Forest has a pitching staff. Florida has a pitching staff. When we run into a team that has three legit starters, that's where I'm concerned. Kentucky. So here's the thing about Kentucky. I found this out today.
Give it to us.
The three starters that they pitched in the regional, not one of them started in the series against us earlier this season.
Why?
Pretty interesting. I don't just because that's the type of carousel they have in their bullpen and starting rotation. So I like that. That's a good thing.
Didn't they pitch us in reverse order? They started
No. I think Alabama was one of the first teams that did that. Kentucky just again doesn't really have a rotation, so we're not going to go. We're going to win at least one game in that series, and then
Friday Saturday.
Most likely the Skeens day. And back to when we played them, I thought it was in Kentucky. I went back and looked. It was actually in Baton Rouge. We 10-run ruled them in the Friday night game. And then Saturday we had like a 6-3 lead, and then we just blew it. We just absolutely nutted ourselves and blew it. And then on Sunday, Christian Little goes 9 up, 9 down. And then he completely loses it and walks everyone. And then we end up winning like a 1-run game by scoring 1 run in the bottom of the 8th and then closing it out.
I feel like that was the inception of Mike planning to go to Omaha.
What's that series?
I think it was that Saturday, and it just like looked so bleak from the moment he fucking sent that message.
It was the first time that like we ever like blew a lead like that. It was like, what just happened? Like this team's unbeatable, and Kentucky's gonna fucking pull it off on a Saturday. What the fuck is going on? And that's when shit started. That's when we started like looking at the bullpen. It's like, oh shit, we're not as good as we thought. Oh, Tommy Tanks is slumping all of a sudden.
That's when the first people got off the bus. You know who doesn't get off the bus until everyone's off? The fucking driver.
Didn't get on yet. You can't. You walked on. I've been in the parking lot. You walked on to drive at the end, and I'm fine with that as long as you're on the bus. If you need to drive, you can drive. As long as we are riding to the end with this baseball team, because it's been a fun season.
Brett can drive. You know what? If Brett's driving, that means I can like stay on my phone and read all the tweets and
couple roadies.
Yeah,
get a little road beer.
Like,
yeah.
See what's
Brett
on the
can drive.
jams.
We'll bring some jams. We'll jam out. We'll jam out to some new AI music. Grant and I discovered AI generated songs from different artists like AC/DC called Great Balls, and it was probably the funniest video I've ever watched in a long time. It's one of those like I've tried to show it to a few people since, and they're just like funny. I'm like, God, dude, it's one of those like had to be there deals. But yeah, we'll be jamming while Brett's driving the Omaha bus.
You can live with
That
that.
would be
Skeens,
funny.
Skeens Day. I like that name. I think that's what we're gonna have to call Fridays from now on. Skeens Day.
Schemes there.
If you were Kentucky, and I know like Kentucky, you just said we're like a carousel of pitching and everything, but like, wouldn't you like maybe just throw in the towel on this first game and just start some clown boy and be like, we just gotta win 2, and we don't
That's-
expect one of these to be this
That's the
game.
recipe we were talking about that Alabama began doing is pitching their rotation backwards, right?
Nick Saban's always been on the forefront. We get
Yeah,
that.
he's on Capitol Hill right now with the SEC commissioner. You know, because
No, that's what got their coach fired. Was he started a shittier pitcher and bet against himself. That's what started.
Oh yeah, I already forgot. About the Alabama coach just getting fired.
And now they're in a
mid-season
super
for
regional,
being a
which is
degenerate
absurd.
fuck.
Yeah, they're in a super.
It is pretty impressive.
Dude, why does Saban get to just hang out with the commissioner from the SEC? Like, why do we
Because
not think
he's Saint Nick?
I know, I get, but he's still coaching. Like, this isn't like let's go hang out with fucking, I don't know, dude. Herb Street. And
No, it feels obviously on the grand stage of it, but it felt a little like when Skip Bertman like left, but yet he like never left. He was involved in like literally everything for a decade, and it was like, is this dude? Did he leave, or is he still like in charge? It's like that, but on like the
Speaking of
grandest
Skip,
scale.
did you see what he was wearing yesterday?
No,
he had a
but Mulkey got no shout outs.
wait.
Shout outs.
Great day. No, Skip had a San Diego Padres polo on at the game yesterday, sitting right behind Scott Woodward. San Diego Padres.
I didn't catch that.
And they were like, wait. And Ben McDonald was like, wait, Skip, is he a scout for the Padres? They're like, well, you'd never know. It's pretty funny.
Can we hit the gavel on baseball?
Yeah, I think
last thing.
Meeting adjourned.
Live.
Last thing. So perfect segue to Live. When you were talking about
or
Nick
can
Saban,
Trayford Bradford.
I think
I was going to say the biggest.
I think Nick Saban is an investor in Live Golf. I'm just going to say that. But yeah, can Trayford Bradford.
Can Trayford Bradford is back. We have to, and this is a good dozen trivia question. Can we track Can Trayford Bradford's like status
Third
from?
time.
Yeah.
So he came to LSU. He enrolled at LSU.
Oh yeah.
Well, hold on. Did he redshirt his first year?
Wait,
was it a COVID year?
No, it's
Trey Bradford. Can Trayford?
It's
Trayford.
No. It's that's not his name.
It's Ken Trayford.
I guess you don't
here on this show. It's Ken Trayford Bradford.
What's the name we used to call him?
Ken Trayford.
Dude, once you think of it so many times as Ken Trayford, like you can't remember his other name. You can't remember his real name.
Do you not remember when Michael was like trying to guess his name for like 10
That's why
minutes?
I'm asking,
and we were just like, it's gotta be
I kept saying
I thought it was Contravious.
No, it's not. It's Trayford.
I feel like I just saw it.
No.
Kavontre.
We like fun. Kavontre.
Maybe.
What the fuck is his name?
Kavontre.
We're literally reliving that moment.
I think it's Kavontre Bradford.
How did I not have this already set up here? Wait.
This is literally exactly what happened the last time.
But okay, while Grant's looking that up, Trayford Bradford is back, and I think his first year he came in, he had I think it was the COVID season, so like that didn't count for him. And then he was here in 21, like the year after COVID, where we were still at Miles Brennan, kind of figuring it out, and
we thought Ed was just an off year.
And he was here, right? What do we got his name?
Yeah, and then he
transferred
to
Oklahoma.
Transferred to Oklahoma.
And I think he was just there for like a month.
Okay, so he didn't spend a season there.
I'm pretty sure not. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, he
Oklahoma.
he didn't play a snap there, right?
Yeah,
But then he went back to
but I
Oklahoma
don't know if he even
again.
stayed.
He's been up.
No, then he came here and then he left the program,
And I think he was going back to Oklahoma.
but he never went
His
anywhere.
freshman year. This says his freshman year was 2020.
COVID.
2021, I think, was when he. So after his freshman year, I think is when he went to Oklahoma, and then he transferred in the middle of the season, and then he actually played in a game after transferring back in 2021 because we sucked again. And then last year, 2022, he like left the program, left the school, completely gone, and then now he's coming back. I think that's the timeline.
Yeah, dude, he went and he was like a ski instructor in Colorado. He's like, I'm fucking taking a break from school. I'm taking a break. I'm gonna
Ass mental health.
Yeah,
break.
I'm taking a year off in Boulder. I'll be back.
Dude,
and now he's back.
It's Kavontre.
Kavontre. That's what I said, right?
Who could
That's what I
say?
said.
I've heard it.
No,
both
we
ways.
keep
Contraford's the real
Contraford.
name.
But towards the end of our little like spat of figuring it out, I said Kavontre.
Dude, I
What-
legit
Grant,
thought
your
his
homework-
name was Contraford until 2
Your
seconds
homework
ago.
for the next day is to scroll the podcast feed and find the episode titled "Who is Contraford Bradford?" and just listen, because this exact same thing, we had this exact discussion.
Yeah, because Mike just made up
like
the
it
poor
did.
kid's name, and then now it's
Now,
all
but
stuck in my
you
head.
thought that was his name.
Contraford sounds legit. Exactly.
It sounds
so
like
good. It sounds
like
good.
somebody that's like, no, I'll go by Trey. Kavontre is
Yeah.
like, I'd probably stick with a more K sounding. I don't know.
Kevon.
Yeah, I don't know.
There he is.
It's just
4-star.
God, now I'm gonna have to freaking listen to that podcast tonight,
Contraford.
going to bed.
Contraford Bradford. He's back. Contraford is a very electric back. But does this add to the whole rumor about John Emery not being back? It's like, dude, how many running backs?
mean-
That's what I was gonna say. It makes you think like Emery's probably not coming back.
You got Logan Diggs that transferred in. Contraford's back.
Two freshmen.
You got Noah Kane. You got fucking Josh Williams. You got Goodwin. And then you got the 2 freshmen. You got 7 scholarship backs. And I didn't even list Emery. Like, that's 8.
And like
That means Emery's not.
and we don't feel
Right.
Yeah, I've given up on it's going to be a happy surprise if I see it. Like in my mind, he's not on the team.
I don't know if
might
I'll
not
be
have
happy.
Josh Williams or Amani Goodwin not back. I think I think Emery is. We can probably substantiate. It's substantiated that he's out, right? Like you have to like grades. He sat out the
I
spring.
don't know if that's the right word.
Well, it's substantiated based on the fact that his grades weren't intact for the spring. That's what I'm saying. Like you have something to go back on. And like if you got to pick one, you're going to pick Emery because of the grades. I think there's 2. With the amount of people that we've loaded up on this offseason, you got to think there's potential for 2 people not to be back. Is it Josh Williams because of his injury? And it's like, hey, it's time for me to hang it up. Or is it Goodwin that he transfers right before the season to save eligibility? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just a lot of backs.
The worst part is that you can add them all in, and it's like I'm still not sure I'm comfortable where we're at. That's the weirdest part.
And you have Jaden Daniels
It's
back
like-
there.
For pretty much our entire lifetime, we've like known the one constant in our life was that LSU was going to have a good back, and it's like at this point in time, that's
But
gone.
we also didn't throw the ball, so it's like that was the only thing we could.
No, I
had.
agree.
But here's what I will say: back whenever Frank Wilson was really in his prime, like his rotation of running backs was very solid, and his room was very solid. But it was such a short leash. It was like, hey,
you had
better
Kenny
perform.
Hilliard.
You had Kenny, you had Jeremy Hill, you had Geis, you had Darrell Williams, right? But like how he was able to manage
Darrell
that crew,
Williams. Wow.
was due to the competition. It was due to the pressure of performing with the little chances you get. So as this room gets bigger and bigger, like there will be a top dog that's going to have to emerge from this room. And I think Frank Wilson's the best person for the job to get that out of them. Like, I'm going to put you in situations where you got to make a play. And if Diggs makes the play, I'm riding the hot hand. Right.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
I weirdly still think it's Noah Kane.
Dude,
Like,
I was
think Noah
literally
Kane's all of a
about to
sudden our
say
back.
the one guy I think has like carries this year, like that gets his share is Noah Kane.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I don't, you know, it's one of those deals where I think more likely than not, you're going to see one of the veteran guys like Contraford, like Kane, like Goodwin.
I don't know that he can be considered a veteran.
Well, I mean, a guy that has been around the program quite a few seasons,
the block.
longer than Diggs,
Kind of.
longer than Diggs and Trey Morgan or Trey Holly and
Trey Morgan.
Yeah, what's Trey Morgan? Can we get? He seems like he's got some wiggle.
think-
Can we
yeah,
maybe
but he's
put him
more of a
back?
You'll
slot.
never get him off the ground, dude. That dude will get hit one time, and he'll just be a fucking Brandon Whedon out there until tomorrow.
That's exactly what I was.
I can
thinking.
see him going in
Like
motion.
you think this dude's career's over, and he's back in the
a
huddle
slot.
4 plays later.
He's in a slot and he's going in motion, and then like as soon as the ball snaps, he puts his foot in the dirt and does that little twirl he does when it's a ball.
Yeah,
And like that's how he runs. And like that's how he runs his route.
Or it's like in motion, but the ball gets snapped like right as he's crossing. He has to like dive out of the way so it can get to the quarterback.
Helmet just somehow comes off. You know,
Never strapped. Helmet's never strapped.
But it's got tape. It's got tape on the ear hole though.
Tape on the ear hole, just no fucking button.
I'd like to watch that. I'd like to watch that. Anyway, Diggs, Kane, I could see those being the guys this year.
Yeah, it's just
Bradford.
strange.
And Brad.
And Trayford.
What about Williams?
We'll see where
Josh
we're at.
Williams.
And that's the other guy. Like Josh Williams kind of throws the corkscrew in here. It's like, well, if 27's healthy, like he's probably going to have to be the guy because it's Josh Williams. But like he produces the best most of the time out of that crew last season. I anticipate
he's the guy you can trust the most.
Right. I think someone's going to explode out of that group. Could it be Caleb Jackson? Could it be a freshman? You know, like somebody's going to burst on the scene.
I think those two. I think the two freshmen. I think they both redshirt. Part of me believes they both, unless like early on they get that opportunity and like they crush it. I think there's too many older guys.
I think in the beginning, it's going to be so many dudes rotated in and out, and then at some point they're going to start fucking up.
Which scares me against Florida State.
An assignment as a blocker. Someone. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Florida State, though, it's like it probably doesn't get spread around. Like, assuming Josh Williams is going to be healthy, you're going to have like him and Kane getting pretty much everything. It's like we're going on the road, and we're not going to throw anyone unproven to the wolves. Like, we're just going to play this one close. It's almost like we're taking away our floor and we're taking away our ceiling, but we're living right here in the second story. Whereas like as you get into the season, it's like, well, who's going to be the guy who is the next John Emery, where he just burst out a 75-yard touchdown out of nowhere, and like we'll start to see maybe seasonal. One of those guys jump.
You know, it's seasonal, just like what Frank did in the past when you had guys like we were talking about, like Michael Ford and McGee and all these other guys that were kind of all just kind of even. Like Dick you Murphy. Saw as the years or as the season went on, it's like, well, in the beginning of the year, it was Josh Williams and Noah Kane, and now you barely see them on the field because fucking Diggs and Contraford caught on, and like you can't take the ball out of their hands, you know.
Is Contraford better than Leonard Fournette? People are asking.
Could be. Carter the Power had a breakdown.
That's a tweet.
He stays on the team long enough.
And after one run,
he's better than Emery.
Sorry, y'all talked at the same time. I couldn't hear you.
That's okay. Grant didn't have anything good to say.
It's got to be seamless.
You know who he is. He's Michael Block. He's in, he's out. You think he's going to be good, and then he's not.
Did he qualify?
I'm actually
Did he qualify for the US Open?
No. He missed out. He missed out by a shot or two. He actually played really well. I'm devastated. I wanted Michael Block in this field so badly. I needed something to hate.
He'll be color commentator. He'll be there.
They'll probably bring him
We're
into the
gonna
booth,
we're
right,
gonna
with
go to the
Jay
pro shop
Monahan.
at whatever BFE shop he works at. Michael,
Hopefully, they never took the camera away.
They didn't cut the grass
Yeah,
right
I don't
on the qualifying hole. It was not right. It was not correctly cut. Like he's the one that would make live excuses.
Yeah, he did shoot like 7 under. I think it just wasn't good enough at where he was, but
Wow.
US Open right around the corner, but they don't fear though, Grant. Michael Block is pegging it up this week at the RBC Canadian Open. So
Woo.
you will get your Michael
I'll
Block
get
fill.
pegged by him. Love it.
Bundle up. Big PGA news. PGA and Live Golf announced that they are teaming up. And can y'all hear me? There's stuff
Yeah.
Mhm.
happening.
Yeah.
Grant just was about to argue the teaming up thing.
No, I was just
It's been
making a joke.
announced that the PGA Tour and the Live Golf are teaming up. Jay Monahan announces that they are in talks to team up and in some form or fashion. We'll see what that means. A lot of people pissed off about this, including Colin Morikawa, including several other PGA Tour members. I can't imagine, and Brett, you mentioned this in the group me. I can't imagine anyone more pissed and betrayed, and frankly heartbroken than Rory McIlroy.
I mean, dude, Rory's literally been like the commissioner of the PGA for a year, just like taking
For
bullets,
this, though.
telling everyone, yes,
Solely
yes,
for
like
this.
literally, it's just been like the meat shield of like, I'm gonna answer questions. It's gonna be my takes. Like no one that's like tangent, like no one that's not paying attention to this like every day even knows who the fuck Jay Monahan is, because Rory has been the guy. And then to just like in the cloak of darkness like make this deal is absolutely hilarious.
Do you
Like,
think there was any type of like rumor or suspicion about this? Like this had to have been going on for some time. Do you think Jay ever like kind of whispered to Rory like, "Hey, dude, calm down.
No.
Calm
No
down."
one
Tiger
knew.
said he didn't
This says
know.
7
Calm down.
weeks.
No
They've
one
been talking
knew.
about this. They've been having meetings for 7 weeks. There were 4 in-person meetings as well as video conferences and telephone calls. Mohan said an agreement was reached Monday night.
Apparently they didn't tell Greg Norman till like 10 minutes before they went on CNBC, which is fucking hilarious.
That's insane. You have no control, brother. This is the Saudis.
It's just, I mean, I think I've been pretty rooted in this take. Like I said this a year ago when this happened, the PGA is as big as scumbags as like there is on the planet. So like them taking the moral high ground in anything was kind of laughable to begin with.
Which would make
But-
sense of why like Phil and everyone has made a mockery of the whole thing. It's like, okay, we're gonna go down this road. Like we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's super weird. Like Live, I never got up in arms. Like I was very interested in Live. I think their execution was as abysmal as humanly possible, but like it didn't really bother me. Like, oh, it's Saudi money. Like, oh, do you remember what they did here? It's like, this is sports, guys. Some people that had no involvement in anything put a bunch of money in here. Like I can't get all worked up. Like if we want to pull the social justice thread on everyone, then no one's clean.
No, that's why you can't. That ideology is never going to succeed because there is no perfect being. Like just relax.
Yeah,
like it is what it is. But
like, just
do you think this has anything to do with Brooks Koepka?
No,
nothing.
It's all about the
right. You
always
don't think
has been.
You don't think it puckered their butts a little bit by seeing the last Open Championship winner with Cam Smith joining Live, and then having Brooks Koepka come close to winning the Masters and then dominating the next major event, being like, okay, we might need a little bit of piece of this cake here. If Brooks and that team's going to be with Live, we want to be able to broadcast them a little bit more. Let's just join forces here.
I don't know. I just think at an extremely high level, when we're talking in the billions of dollars, like that's such a, like a granular thing that it just doesn't. I just don't think it moves the needle. It's like, sure, do you want like Brooks Koepka playing on
I
your
would say
tour?
it didn't
Yes.
hurt. It didn't hurt anything by him winning when he did
I
and
just
doing
I
what he
just think
did. I
it
don't
may
think
have
it was
fueled the
exciting.
fire. It may have been
Yeah.
like, listen,
Maybe.
they can succeed. They're gonna have dudes, right? That
Yeah,
they'll
that
have a
didn't hurt
dude.
anything.
And if Brooks Koepka, this guy that could potentially go on a fucking, tear right now, is going to be
The golfer of a generation.
right, and it's going to be more appealing now to these other players of like, you know what, you're right. I only want to play like fucking 6 times, 5 times, and be able to compete in the majors. I can still win majors and be recognized as one of the best of all time. Brooks is doing it. Why can't I do it? And so I don't know if like the attractiveness of
I
that
just
league all of a sudden is enhanced because of Brooks, and so that made the PGA move a little bit faster on whatever deals they were working on. Like, let's do this.
But you just completely burned down the house you built in that scenario. It's like, "Oh, shit, the one guy." It's like, by any metric, like, we wanna dig into, Liv has been a failure.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't give it once again, I don't give a shit about anything except, like, an entertainment perspective of watching golf, and it's just
It's
like, it
it's
hasn't been good. The jokes of the Michael Scott Paper Company thing were just so spot
Liv has
on.
done
Yeah.
one thing. Liv has made every news outlet, everyone talk about golf for the last 2 years. I mean, like, I don't remember a time when golf was, like, in the headlines, like, breaking news, the 2 sides are negotiate like, no, golf's always been like, "Oh, they won a tournament." Like, now it's
Mhm.
like kinda like when MLB went to NFL went to a lockout or the NBA goes to lockouts, it's like, boom, it's like massive news. I feel like that's the one thing Liv did was like bring to the forefront like these massive players and this massive
But they
amounts of
didn't go
money that
away.
golf deals with.
They never went away. It was just a
No,
very
they
in your
stayed
face,
around and then their
like,
players freaking won. So like I think
right.
Liv elevated. I don't like their model like 100%, but
No, it's
if you
tacky,
do
but
merge the two, I think it could be enjoyable to have the PGA format, a few team like if they figure it out, the formula, they've gained a lot of popularity with all the media attention they've garnered by butting heads, you
yeah,
know?
and if you want to make the PGA Tour just like a more exclusive, tour, it's like, okay, let's shrink down these events even more, make them more of a premium, make it classier, whatever the case may be. Lives kind of the wild boys. They're the
What if
ones
they're
that the tournament
thinking
don't really mean as much, but it's
what if
fun to
they're
watch.
thinking like on the lines of like MLB and so they're like, "All right, we're going to have like minor league golf with these teams." And so you're going to get designated down like, "Oh, Michael Block's on the single A team."
Yeah,
But, like,
We're going
I'm
to call
pretty
you up.
sure this deal is, like, all about money and financing. Like, I'm pretty sure Live and the PGA Tour are still gonna be, like, their separate entities, and then, like, after 2024, Live is just gonna, like, cease to exist. Like, I don't think it's gonna be this, like, "Let's reshape the way
no,
golf is." It's like, "Let's fucking add more commas to our bank account." That's it. That's
And
it.
stop
and if
And, like,
that's
suing
the
each other.
everything is almost
well, if that's the case, the
every
PGA Tour played this perfectly, and they held out, and they were like, "Fuck you! I dare you to do this." Oh, wait a minute, we're gonna come save you and help you out here, and then cut you off.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like the one of the
I don't
strangest decisions. Like I can't really figure it out. But like there is a part of me, Grant mentioned lawsuits. There is a part of me that thinks that the PGA was like, we can't just like open up our books for discovery. Like we can't just let these lawyers take everything and like look into our records because like I said previously, it is like a
Oh, for
scumbag
sure.
organization.
That's probably exactly what it is. Oh, you're gonna make rules
interesting.
against us? Well, let's do some audits.
Let's
Let's
do
pull the
let's
files.
do a little
It's
do a
yeah.
little digging into so and so into
Who
this
knows?
clubhouse,
Who
into
knows?
this
But
That's
tournament.
I
two different
can't
ideas about the reasoning behind it. One is this going to transform the game? Are we going to have some cool events, or is this just simply,
Well,
yes, you can use our logo, or like
they
we'll talk now.
they mentioned I read some. They mentioned a lot about like, oh, it's going to help all these professional golfers charity events and things like that.
Oh
Like, so
yeah,
they're trying to like
these
cover
dudes
up.
don't need fucking
Right,
help.
right.
They
So they're So I'm like,
We're making
right,
1.9 mil for winning the West Hartford fucking Open. They don't
right.
need
So,
help with their
so
charity events. Like,
I don't
fuck
think we
off.
fully know. I don't think there's enough information yet as to like what this is going to look like. Back to like Brett's point, like I
Yeah.
don't.
What is Chambly gonna do?
Oh, dude, did you
I haven't
see?
seen
Did
him.
you watch the clip? Oh my God, he went on Golf Channel at like let's call it 2 o'clock, and it looked like he stopped crying 4 seconds before they went live. Like he had no makeup on, his eyes were puffy, and he was just like, "This is the saddest day in the golf history," or something like that. It's so good. You gotta
I gotta look
watch
it
it.
up.
It's like
I was saving that for
he
later.
didn't hit the makeup tint.
Yeah, I
It's
had to
so
because I
funny.
knew
I only
his
watched
reactions would be coming out, and I haven't searched for him yet, but that was on the docket for some entertainment before I go to bed.
yeah, I didn't even watch the whole like 2 minute clip. All I needed to see was that first like 10 seconds of him like introing. It was so fucking funny. Um Yeah, I can't imagine. I hope I'm hoping by the time like we get off this pod and scroll Twitter, there's some leaked nuggets from the players meeting that happened in Canada today because I literally can't imagine how pissed off these dudes are. One that didn't just sign up for 300K and pocket or 300
Mhm.
mil and
Yeah,
pocket it, but like literally like I don't know, let's call it 6 months ago, Rory and Tiger and got together. They had a meeting. They talked to Monahan, and it was like, here's our talking points. Like
yeah,
here's why we're staying with the PGA. All for this dude to just be like, deal. It's so funny. It's so
it
funny
is
to me.
crazy. It is crazy.
What a piece of shit. What a
Very
scumbag.
scummy, and it really just breaks any trust that these players had on their governing body. It's like, hey, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Let's just play some golf, man.
Look, if you watch it, his eyes are so baggy.
So for those that are not watching on YouTube, we're watching a clip of old Brandel
It
give
does look
his.
like he was crying.
Oh, he's upset.
Oh, it's
He's
so
It
good.
shaking.
literally says one of the
Uh,
saddest days in the history of professional golf.
Yeah. But like at the same time, it's like, look, Brandel's a clown, whatever. I actually enjoy him some, more than most, I think. But like there's no doubt in my mind that Golf Channel owned by NBC, owned by this person, gets paid by this person. There's no doubt in my mind that they're like, we have to hammer like America. Like you can't even say Brooks can be on the Ryder Cup team. You remember 9/11 because we do. And now it's like, I think we're fine. We're good.
Yeah.
We like
So
Brooks.
what's funny is I listen to his like morning drive sometimes on Sirius Radio, the golf channel. It's like I forgot the dude's name, but he is bought and sold. Like there is no wavering from the PGA, and he has callers, and it's almost like a fine bomb. They're just like,
Mhm.
and they're like some of them are like his followers, right? So they're with him, and so they call just like ragging Brooks Koepka, like blood money, like really going off about live golf, about how like he should not be allowed at all in the Ryder Cup, and the host is all about it. He's just like, you're right. Originally, it was formed to be the tour versus blah blah blah, and like he goes into it. He's like, so technically it is not the best players from our country. It's the best players from our tour. And like he's just hell bent on saying it. And you got these people calling in just fighting him too. They're like, will you get off your ass? Start letting the best players play. Dude, it's funny how they battle that shit out. But to your point though, it's like there's networks that definitely don't want to see cross pollination.
Okay. I looked up who was the host of Morning Drives because I used to watch
Who is
that
it?
morning show on the Golf Channel. It says Casillas, Gary Williams, and Saunders. I'm guessing that's Holly Saunders. Eric Casillas.
No, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. Sirius XM Golf
That's
Channel
fine.
in the mornings.
I don't think it was the
Might not have been morning
yeah,
drive.
maybe we might yeah, that Morning Drive has been like around forever. And I was trying to think of the original host name back in the day. I don't think it was any of these people. I looked up, so it's irrelevant. But yeah, it was weird. Like whenever the tweets started firing in at like 8 or 8:30 this morning, I was like, this is someone got
When you
got.
sent me
Like there's
that,
no way.
the gif I sent y'all was exactly. I was like, that's
When
exactly
Brett put
that's
it in there,
exactly what it was.
Brett doesn't pop in that early with like breaking news unless it's real. I was like, so that's crazy.
I like quadruple check sources because like it got posted in a group chat and I was like, this dude got no fucking way. So I go like dig in my own research and find like 9, 10, 20, like all of a sudden it was just
Boom,
like
boom,
there.
boom.
It was weird.
I'm
Yeah,
trying to look
that was
up
wild.
trying to look up who that host is. I'm
But yeah, I
done.
don't
I'm
know.
done
It's
potting if y'all
strange.
are, as far as whatever's
Yeah,
on the
I
docket.
got
Done with
nothing
this
else.
stupid show.
It's been a pleasure. Excited for LSU regional. Obviously,
So I will
we'll be
be on
back after.
vacation Friday, flying
We're
to Indianapolis for a wedding. And then
it's not a vacation.
from there, Chicago, and then from Chicago to St. Louis, it'll all be like 9 days. We'll be out and about.
Michael Breed, a new breed of golf.
Oh, Michael Breed, the guy. There's actually
Sorry, Grant.
you can find on YouTube. I don't know. You're probably the only one who's gonna do this, Mike, but you can find on YouTube Tiger Woods, and I think he's playing with Brooks Koepka, and it's the final round of the no, it's the final round of the PGA
hmm
that Brooks won, I think, and Tiger lost, but Breed is doing it's like just the lead group of Tiger and Michael Breed's like on the coverage. It's so good, such a good watch because Tiger is spraying it all over the planet off the tee and just sniping every fucking pin, and Michael Breed's losing his mind. It's a great
Yeah,
watch.
I'll have to check that out. He's a good listen. He does a really good job interviewing, but I mean, my God, don't bring up that you like Liv. He'll tear you apart.
But like I legitimately think that was like a talking point. Like these dudes were literally like paid shills to just shit on Live and like air quote pump America. It's
So wait,
wild.
Grant, you're not going to watch the Supers? You're going to be at a wedding.
Well, the wedding
Oh, well.
is on Friday. So
Oh,
the fact that we've moved to
the
2 o'clock Central Time on Saturday, I should be good. I was just watching on my phone.
fight.
Damn, this whole show, Mike's been good internet.
Tight.
Now it's turning to shit.
Yeah,
We need
it's
to hang it
time.
up. We need to hang it up.
Over and out.
I'm hitting